up with, including the revised plan, before we send it in, again, it's a draft, please see me. I'll be glad to share it with you.
Sal DiBianco.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'll be very brief. I think George probably said it all. My concern is, again, what we spoke about before. Reading through the document, the terminology is dripping, and I hate to say it, with Agenda 21. Right? When you look at the words that you guys use, it is frightening. Right? There is no reason why we have to talk about social justice, social issues in an economic plan. Right? One of the things you mentioned is that you're pure and everything paid from the states, and that you be very careful. Some of the money will be coming down from HUD and other agencies, and you're going to take advantage of that. Just remember that those agencies are really into the Agenda 21.
Sal, I think you have to relate your comments to the plan.
Well, this is to the plan. You're going to get money from HUD and other agencies, and what I'm suggesting is that we have to look at that very carefully, and we need some property rights people there, and we also need an opt-out. Whenever you get a grant from the federal government, EPA, there should be an opt-out clause. I don't see any of that in the upcoming grants, like the 13-county grant that we're working on now.
We're not talking about the grant now.
Well, talking about the fact that when you get a grant, there should be an opt-out clause, and there should be something in there to protect property rights of the individual.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Beasley.
Yes. My name is Bob Beasley, and I'm Director of Planning for Somerset County. Before commenting on the state plan, I just want to point out two things regarding our unique and long history of advocating for a workable and effective state planning framework. We had the pleasure of facilitating 3 rounds over 30 years of cross-acceptance planning in Somerset County. We facilitated 13 Senate petitions in our county. We helped spearhead the first tri-party regional center. We support municipalities on a voluntary basis that want to pursue redevelopment. And also we've been very active through the cooperation of the OPA in the stakeholder process. All county planners as well as municipal officials, we appreciate that involvement. We're also updating our own strategic plan and involved right now in preparing a countywide comprehensive economic development plan. We took it upon ourselves to try to pilot this capacity-based investment framework to see if it's workable at the local level, and we've been receiving very wide support from our municipalities. We want to just take a minute and just applaud the governor and the lieutenant governor for getting state planning back on track. And first and foremost, I think the county planning board supports the overall shift in the approach that state planning is taking from one of being a top-down directive on local government to one that places an emphasis on the horizontal alignment of state agencies. I think this one sentence alone tells us why we need a state strategic plan. Some of the other things I just want to compliment the office on, again, is repositioning OPA within the Secretary of State's office, putting it within the Business Action Center so it can better carry out some of its economic mandates, emphasizing the importance of building on assets, particularly infrastructure, as approach to identify investment areas, recognizing the need for a sustainable source of preservation dollars, so places like Morris and Somerset to continue their long history of open space and farmland protection, and also this concept of vertical integration of planning through incentives, not mandates, that has occurred in the past. We have a whole series of recommendations that we'd like to put forth in more detail. One area in the plan, though, that we feel very strongly on is recognizing the historical role that counties have played with our municipalities. And also our role in terms of preservation of open space and farmland, wastewater, Again, where these are areas where we work very closely with our municipalities, and we want to see the state plan recognize that and build on the county's strengths to help achieve mutual goals. Also, what's very important, I think, this whole criteria-based approach relies heavily on GIS resources. Many counties have already put these resources in place, so there's no need to duplicate that, and we want to be part of that process in terms of applying these concepts. We want more transparency in the process. So, for example, these state guidelines that are being talked about to be made part of the plan. Also, we need, I think, some kind of language in the plan that talks about the process for county, municipal, and public review of the state strategic plans. Since a lot of the details, I think, that we're talking about will be vetted in those plans. We applaud this concept of moving away from plan endorsement. It's been cumbersome, costly, and the results I don't think have been that productive. Lastly, I think the plan does need to recognize the interdependence between the importance of adequate labor supply that meets the needs of local businesses and the importance of having a high quality and diverse housing stock statewide. So we're grateful to provide some brief comments. Again, we intend to submit much more detailed comments. The county planning staff is actually attending 3 or more of the meetings to gauge the sentiment, public comments, so we can incorporate that into our own report. Thank you.
Jeffrey Grant.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey Grant. I'm from New Jersey. I'm a licensed engineer, and I have to say the 5-minute rule is really found in my remarks, so we may not know
Testimony.
just a comment first about the interconnectivity of local plans and state plans, federal government funding. I'm not sure I'm completely on board with you about the New Jersey State Master Plan is one thing.
Speak louder, please.
I'm a little hoarse. I don't know if I'm on board with you about the New Jersey State Master Plan being standalone and all the other counties and municipalities doing their own thing. I think we're all interconnected. I live in Somerset County, on top, and I read the Somerset County Draft Master Plan vision, and they're eerily similar. And I know there are a lot of issues that come up in Somerset County of the same ilk that are here. So I think all the plans are connected. The counties look to the state, and the municipalities look to the county. And we all kind of look to the federal government to see where they're giving money and giving incentives. So I think that's how it's done. But my first remark is a comment, and that is I don't see how the plan really addresses what I often perceive as the #1 problem in New Jersey, and that's road congestion. And if there was ever anything I was going to look at from a top-down view and say, hey, we've got a problem here we need to solve, there's just not enough road capacity during rush hour to get people to and from the destination. I know there's a lot of talk about transit villages, and then there's a lot of talk about high-density housing centered around these transit villages, but I think we have to face up to the fact that New Jersey is an automobile-based state. Automobile transportation-based state. Accept that, embrace that, and expand our highway capacity, expand the availability of roadways to get to and from work, office buildings especially, during traffic days. So that being said, again, some of my remarks may be a little bit out of order and they may not be exactly connecting the dots between everything. The paramount concern throughout New Jersey in this proposed plan is the subversion of property rights and land wealth through the application of United Nations Agenda 21 principles through its advancement of new and strange concepts of environmental justice and social equity. Now, page 5 of the plan, under the category of guiding principles for state decision making, there are 5 criteria. One of them is sustainability. And it says the state of New Jersey will plan for and respond to current and future challenges and opportunities through adaptive decision making that accounts for social, economic, and environmental protection and enhancement. And my first question to you is, what is sustainability? It's kind of a rhetorical question, because you can ask 3 people the question, what is sustainability? You'll get 5 answers, and even then they won't be sure what they're talking about. Well, let's go on. Coincidentally, the tenets of United Nations Agenda 21 are sustainability, as mentioned by the 3 E's, equity as in social equity, environment as in environmental justice, and economy. Now, there's no coincidence in my mind that the proposed plan does not say a single word about UN Agenda 21 and its key tenets of sustainability, which are the 3 E's I just mentioned. In my mind, the proposed plan is United Nations Agenda 21. It's a very bad thing for the state of New Jersey. I think Agenda 21, this is my opinion, it's a pipe dream utopia cooked up by those who don't understand their.
Sir, I have to keep you on our plan.
He is on the
Thank
plan.
you.
He is on the plan.
Keep him on the plan.
He's on the plan.
On the plan.
He's right on
He's right on the
No,
plan.
he's
right
not.
on the plan.
Well, I am connecting Agenda 21 to the plan. I am taking what you put into words and saying, you're saying the same thing as Agenda 21. And it's if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's Agenda 21. So that's the point. So, editorially, I think a lot of people don't understand they're being hacked by environmental radicals and socialists. Now, the last guiding principle of this grouping of 5 is institutionalizing change. This says the state of New Jersey will ensure that progress made is institutionalized in a way that can transcend time without perpetual recasting. Now, what this means is if this plan is accepted, there's no way to reverse course. What if this proposed plan is yet another case of government gets it wrong? Again, it will take several years for the results of this plan to emerge. And by that time, all of the boards, councils, agencies, and processes that the plan advocates will already be firmly in place. And by that time, the bureaucracy that this plan has created will have metastasized throughout the society and will be impossible to remove. No plan in any rational business environment is complete without an escape clause. How much time do we have?
No.
How much time
We
do we have?
mentioned before, the season time. Another minute.
How much time? I have another.
Yep.
Escape clause is a rational risk management technique that allows reversing or unwinding the plan to minimize adverse or undesirable intended results. Yet this proposed plan, regardless of its outcome, is specifically intended to be irreversible. I was going to ask you a question about wealth. Do you know where all wealth comes from?
This is your comment period.
This is part of the conversation. Does anybody know where wealth comes from?
Comes from
All
my
wealth.
property,
My property, right? Land.
stuff that I own.
Jeff, you're using a minute now for.
Well, I'm making a point. Most people don't know the answer to that question. And if you're planning an estate, I think it's important for you to understand. Anyway, I'll wrap up with kind of an overview. The frequency of terminology used in this plan. The word sustainable is used 23 times. Green is used 8 times. Garden state values is used 10 times. Agency is used 17 times. Council is used 3 times, and that's including what's called the Food Policy Council. Commission is used 7. State Planning Commission is used 20 times. Public-private partnership or public-private investments is used 12 times. Private property is used once. Free enterprise is used 0 times. Competition is used 0 times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin, Caron, I'm sorry if I'm misinterpreting.
Hi, my name is Kevin Caron. I'm a Montgomery Township resident. I do have concerns with the New Jersey development plan. The outcomes, seeing that they're already determined and public input really here is for show. The main goal of the draft state plan appears to impede development outside of urban centers and shift resources to suburban areas, from suburban areas. Designing goals are social and environmental. There's no real economic benefit for a majority of the New Jersey citizens here. It is a top-down plan that dictates land use and development. The plan also seems to give the state authority to accumulate land for preservation and development. Population centers like Camden and Newark and other city centers. it requires funding from the state, which I'm not sure I would support that. Montgomery Township, we already have 1/3 of our land preserved with open space and so forth. And the surrounding townships also have similar amounts of land preserved. You know, how much land do we need to preserve? We need developing, we need jobs here. The federal government is giving money to the states with strings attached. And the state money that's going to be involved here is also going to have strings attached. It will take away the local authority in the development process and give the states the right to do it. Now, just looking at the solar panels that are on the telephone poles everywhere you go, no local authority had the right to say, no, we don't want those in our township. And if you look at the one in front of my house, right outside my driveway, there's bird poop all over it. There's no traffic congestion relief. The plan will intertwine local, state, and federal branches to control water use, energy use, private property, food production, population growth, owning and using our cars, temperatures in your homes. The state of New Jersey should have a lot more of these public hearings. There's not really a lot of hearings. There's only a handful of hearings. Like the gentleman over there said, 21 counties here. There should be at least one in every county. Anyway, so, you know, I think it's a little bit unfair to place this plan in such a fast manner into the public realm. No one really even knows about it. If you talk to people, I have 80 people at my company, and I've asked a lot of people, you know that New Jersey has a new development and redevelopment plan. They have no idea about it. So this is all getting done without really anyone knowing about it, except the people here. So anyways, you know, I want to remain in my suburban home. You know, I want to drive my car as I need. I want to avoid the city as much as possible. Coming up here is a nightmare, going through all that traffic. You know, I don't want to be required to take a bus or train to work. I don't want to live in row homes. I don't want my children having to walk to school in these kind of dangerous times. I don't want to have my property rights taken away and live at uncomfortable temperatures.
You have to finish up.
So what we really need, to sum it up, we really need more jobs here in New Jersey. Get the job in here, and the rest of the stuff will just take